Hello, this is Artfolio for CSCE 310, summer 2024, and this is our final code presentation. I am Blake Dijon, team leader.
Adam Brown Pravala for I've worked on the creators entity.
I'm Jane. I did the transactions entity.
And my name's Kyle, and I worked on the user's entity.
Okay. For this presentation, we first want to go through the README very quickly. Everything you need to get started is here. Our application is also hosted in the cloud, but if anything were to go wrong, you can actually host like this. You can actually host the application locally. So we're going to go through the steps to do so. So right now I'm in a virtual environment. So just go to where you will start from. Here, you will actually start your virtual environment by running this command, then run the application using this command. So here we are. We're greeted with a login screen. I will update or put in my information rather, in which I am an admin. And I will hand it off to Adam to first create a creator.
All right, so let's jump into creating a creator. I'm going to go into create creators over here, and it's going to take me to this form where I can input the details of the creator. So today we're going to be working with Claude Monet, a famous French artist, Monet, and he was born in France. And since we know his birth dates, we're going to leave this unchecked. So he was born on 14th November 1840. And just to show this check that I have in place for the death date not being older than the birth date. So let's say if I put 11/13/1840, it tells me that the birth date must be older than the death date. So let me go in and put these details again. And it's going to be 11th of November 1840, and he died in 5th December 1926. So there I've added him now, and he's been successfully added. We can go to the read page, which is accessible to both an admin and a patron, and we can see that Claude has been added over here. And update creator and delete creators is only accessible by admin user, and since Blake's logged in as an admin, he can have access to this page. And just to show the functionality of update creators, I'm going to input the wrong place of birth for Claude just to show that it works. And there, when I go back to read creators, we can see that it has been updated from France to being Italy. And then we can also delete creators. Again, a creator can only be deleted if they're not associated with any paintings in our database. So I would be able to delete Claude right now, but since we need him, we're going to add an art piece associated with him. I'm going to keep it in the database, but I can show you the check over Da Vinci was associated with the Mona Lisa right now in the database. So as soon as I hit delete, it tells me that Da Vinci is associated with an art piece and they cannot be deleted at the moment. And I'm going to hand it over to Blake to add an art piece for Claude now.
Okay, I am Blake, and I was in charge of the CRUD operations for paintings. So currently, we are going to add a painting called A Woman with a Parasol, created by Claude. So we can go to a drop-down menu here, see how he's there. And this particular painting was an Impressionist painting, so I'll input that information. It was finished in 1875. Its cost is, let's say, $1 million, and I have a photo link of it right here. And to start off, let's say it's viewable and sellable, which is important for different routes in our application. So just to make sure that that painting is there, we can go here, search for it, and see that it is right here within our read menu. And this is good behavior right here, because whenever you create a painting in our application, the default user will be the museum. So we can go back and let's test updating this art piece also. So here we can see it on the bottom. Of course, I'm an admin, so I can see all paintings within our application, and I can update all paintings. So let's say that it is no longer sellable, and see that we've successfully updated this. Now, since this painting is not associated with any transactions, we can actually delete it. So let's try that. Let's go to the delete menu and see it's right here. So let's try deleting it, and we see that we successfully deleted it. Now, other paintings that are associated with transactions actually cannot be deleted. So for instance, I believe this one is associated with a transaction. Let's see if we can delete it. No. because our application guards against referential or make sure of referential integrity, this painting cannot be deleted. And that is everything for the painting. And now I will pass it off to Kyle to create a user.
Cool, thank you. So yeah, I'll go ahead and talk about our creators. So I'll just go ahead, or our users, sorry. So you can create users, first of all, just integrity checks. You have to show all of the input you have to give. So say I want to create a new user, I'm going to do it of myself. Another check in our database is you cannot create duplicate users for a certain email. So if I tried to make this guy here where I already have an account for my email there, it won't let me do that because that email already exists. So say I wanted to do a different person at a new email. Oops. At mail.com. Say I create that. And there we go. Now it works. I can create a user, and if I go read, there's my new user that I just created. And I can also read all of these users here because I am logged in as an admin. So there's that account there that it wasn't letting me duplicate earlier. So yeah, I can also go back and update these users because I think I made a couple of spelling errors. So I can change the email here to maybe a new email test. And I can also maybe change this guy to be an admin instead. And I can update it and it'll go back. And if I try to read it, you can see I've got the updated information there in my new user. And similarly, I can go back, I can delete these users. Since this was just a test, I can get rid of them and he will be gone just for sure. Additionally, for more integrity, I know that it doesn't allow us to delete users if they're involved in any transactions. So like I know, I think Blake here is involved in some transactions. So if I try to delete him, it won't let that happen. It throws the integrity errors. But I'll go back and I'll show you real quick that that test user that I had made earlier is gone because I deleted him. So yeah, there's the functions for the read users, and I'll throw it over to Jaden just to talk about the transactions.
All right, I'm going to go over the core transactions. So let's go to create transaction. As you can see, all the details are drop-down menus, so you can only select from RPs that are existing and users that are existing. We didn't want to give functionality to where you could create new transactions and new users here. Let's say we're going to take the Scream, and if you were a patron, you would only be allowed to put yourself as the buyer. We don't want patrons to make transactions on behalf of other patrons. And let's say I'm going to try to buy the Scream from Kyle, even though the Scream belongs to the museum. So this should throw me an error. Yep, incorrect seller. So this time I'm going to buy it from the museum. All right, cool. Then let's go to retransaction. And as you can see, where is it? Here it is. The Scream was purchased by Jaden from the museum at this date. And now we can update the transaction. Let's say, okay, we want to update this specific transaction of the Scream from Jaden between Jaden and the museum. And let's say it wasn't the Scream anymore. Let's say it was what's a transaction? What's something that hasn't had a lot of interaction with? Say persistence of memory. So it's Jaden Wang. We want to keep everything else the same to validate it. The museum. We want the update time setting to be the same. Okay, this should be good. All right, and as you can see right here, yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's just changed from the Scream to persistence of memory. We go back and we read transactions. Sorry, we've done this so many times. Yep, persistent memory generating from the museum, and it's no longer the Scream. And then finally, when we can delete a transaction. Fourth one, persistent memory generating the museum. Delete this. And we're good. And likewise, in delete transaction, if you were a patron, you'll only be able to see transactions that you participated in because we don't want patrons to delete transactions or update transactions on behalf of other patrons. And I think one last thing I want to do is I want to buy a painting in this double painting. Let's see. Let's do Breezing Up. Click buy. Painting Breezing Up has been purchased. Let us Simple paintings. Yeah, and if we go to retransactions, you should see. Oh yeah, we're logged. Yeah, sorry, we're logged in as Blake. Yeah. Yeah, and Blake has bought, raising up a fair win. That should be everything for transactions.